Alright. Thank you. Alright. So I talked about the three main powers. And hopefully you never have to deal with them. But in case you ever find yourself in Camarilla territory, you're going to have to deal with this one. The Ventrue. Think of every bad thing about a politician or a boss you once had. How slimy they were. Trying to climb up social ladders. That would be the Ventrue in form. Not the toughest if you can get them one-on-one. But they have enough power that they can make your lives miserable if you know about them. So, these guys are the shot callers. They are the power in the Camarilla. Now granted, there are a few other races that the Ventrue know that they don't want to anger, because in a flat fight, the Ventrue really don't have a whole lot. They just have their connections. And connections don't do a whole lot once you find a blade at your throat. Or fangs. But that's another story. Now, I remember walking down an alley, Ventrue from the nice side of Seattle. It was about 10, 15 years ago. Had to be a neonate, a young one. Just turned. Thought he was hot shit. Well, this old dog still has a bit of a bite to him. Anyway. The Ventrue, they have power. Now, most of these blood-sucking pests, they'll have different abilities. Something you need to be aware of. Most of them, you're going to be aware of three things. They're going to hit harder than you. They can take more damage than you. And they're going to be faster than you. And that's the abilities you hope they have. Because after that, it gets worse. The Ventrue, they're not willing to work with anybody until they know it's going to give them something in return. These are the worst. Think suit-wearing, board members, politicians. If you know someone who had to make a deal just to get something by, they would probably have been a Ventrue. Now, despite going back to Rome, here's how you can kill some of them. Ventrue love status. They love power. So you're going to need to put on your best suit and start talking to some people. They'll show themselves, but you need to show that you got the goods. One time, through means I would rather not say here, I got myself a fair bit of money. Unknowingly, a Ventrue came forward and his little pests around him. Nothing big I had to deal with, but after calling a few friends of mine, well, you'd be surprised how many weapons you can get through in a suit. Now, they didn't make it that night. A lot of final deaths. Granted, they were dead already, but these creatures, they're not the worst to handle. Maybe their effects are, and with their spot in the camera really at the top, killing a lot of them will cause a lot of chaos. The Anarchs will move in, and that's a different group for a different problem. These guys may not be the fastest, the strongest, or hit the hardest, but be aware, one-on-one, if you don't know it, they will kill you. Now, unless you are a man or a woman of status, they wouldn't want to drink your blood. Like I said before, they want power. And they find drinking more PhD egghead, Rhodes Scholar, I've got all me money and this nice little account and my 2.5 dumb fuck kids and this little white house on the hill. They want those kinds. So, if you keep your head down and you don't show it, you're probably not going to get touched by a Ventrue. Now, you might wonder, okay, what about, garlic? I'll get garlic and crosses. Garlic don't do jack. crosses, unless you are a devout Christian, won't do much. I've heard through the grapevine that devout priests of other religions have abilities that can be used on these guys, the kindred, the vampires, but I haven't seen it. Honestly, I'd pray to Odin right now if I had to. But so be aware, if you find yourself in any posh setting, they love things like high-end, what they call it, museum openings and art events or silent auctions. That's them. Don't show your hand. Don't do anything rash. Don't flaunt power. Because if you flaunt enough power, they will come out of the woodwork for you. And if they hear you're kind or anything, then, well, you may not be kind for long. Now, one thing you need to be aware of, if they try to draft you, they turn you. There's something called a blood bond. They will own you. Doesn't matter if you hate them later. They will own your soul. You don't want that. When it's your time, between going to be a kindred and just going to the beyond, just go. Don't take them. Don't take their word, because you don't know what's next after that. You may be able to live 1,000 years, but you won't be you now. Now the Ventrue, these guys, after finding ways that I've wanted to get rid of them, here's something, a little tip. If the Camarilla are in a city, and if the Ventrue are there, the Camarilla are most likely there, look for a group called the Anarchs. These two don't get along very well, and if the Sabbat were in town, both of them will probably take on the Sabbat. But between the two, Anarchs and Camarilla, see if you can get them to meet away from everybody else, because they love to handle things on their own. And if it means less of the blood-sucking freaks, by all means. Alright, so, Ventrue. They're stronger, they're faster, they're harder, they're the slimy politicians. They love power. If you are a man or a woman of class and money, you may find yourself targeted by them for blood. But other than that, you know, what's that? Okay, I need to go.